You're listening to the Biohackers World podcast.
Biohacker World 2025. Welcome again, and I'm here with the lovely Miss Linda Bamber-Olson. How you doing?
Good. It's
Good
great
to
to
see
be
you.
here.
Good
Nice
to see you.
meet you too.
Yes. So, appreciate you coming through and having this quick conversation with us at Biohacker World's 2025. So I just want to get like a little bit of information on you and about like your journey. I know that you're in sound healing, but you do have a very, very personal journey that you definitely embarked on. So, the floor is yours.
Definitely. And I think it's that way with everybody that develops something new and different. I was born completely deaf in one ear, but they didn't discover it until I was in third grade. So
wow.
obviously I had figured out something to fool people, And when they did discover it, it was just kind of a revelation to everybody else but me, maybe is the way to say it. And I've continued with that fascination for, my whole life with different frequencies and sound because of my lack of ability to hear that. And then things changed when I was in my 50s. Both my mother and my sister were diagnosed with breast cancer about 6 months apart.
Oh, wow.
And my medical doctor knew that I had a history of fibrosis and just told me to have a double mastectomy and forget about it. And I looked at him like he was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
And said, I can figure out something better than that,
Yeah.
And so I started a business called BRAS, Breast Research Awareness and Support. I quit teaching school. I got an ND certification and kind of went into the natural health field. And what happened was that as I worked with women's natural breast health, I think I mentioned that I developed a business, Breast Research Awareness and Support.
Yeah.
As I worked with those women there were so many things that they could do that it actually became overwhelming. And finally, one day I just said, God, tell me what to do, And really, he did give me the answer. It's frequencies. And there was a frequency for every single problem that women were having with their breast health that I could educate them on. So I developed a watch where they could wear these frequencies instead of take bottles of pills or prescriptions or exercises or things like that. They just had a wearable tool. And these frequencies, are you ready for this?
I've been ready.
They're over 100 years old.
100
They were
years.
measured over 100 years ago. We just haven't used them.
Wow, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of things that have been made that's literally been, by the grace of God that we haven't even necessarily discovered yet as well too. So when you've asked God to give you that, that
Download,
decision, was that your aha moment where like, you know what, this is like, what is something I really want to be able to pursue for the rest of my life?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So that passion has just been really big. But that really wasn't until about 2019. I had the idea for 10 years before.
Okay.
Tried to get it, developed, but the technology just wasn't there. But when the technology came in, where we had MP3 players and things like that, that's some of the technology that I adapted to make this particular product.
So listen, this is actually very, very incredible. And I'm actually very, very intrigued because I'm very ignorant towards this. So tell me about the science behind sound and how it is healing and the whole entire process behind that.
Well, there should be more science behind it because we've used acoustical frequencies for thousands of years to heal ourselves. Everybody knows about Tibetan bowls and drumming and humming and that kind of thing. But we really haven't continued to develop it. And the FDA to this day continues to say that sound, acoustical frequencies, the sound of our voice, that they are actually experimental. We don't know enough about them yet. And that's
very peculiar.
Yeah, it just blows me away that the most common sense that we have. I mean, honestly, when we're in the mother's womb, sound is the first sense that we have.
Okay.
It's like a drum corps inside the womb, they say. And sound is the last sense that we have when we pass from this world, basically. But what have we done with it in between? Not a lot, But there are about 400 different experiments done with sound, proving that sound and music does have a lot of changes and can make changes in your emotions and your physical being.
Yeah.
So,
And then like what is your like experience when it comes to really, really diving into this device and also serving like, these women, like, as far as like from like before and after, as far as like them having like having like something that's like wrong with them and also like, being healed. Like what's your process in that?
well, as I developed the prototype, I just saw the changes, so I knew it was going to work. Of course, I already kind of had a great idea
Yeah, the
since,
manifestation
yeah,
already.
yeah,
Yeah, facts.
But because I had so many women working with their natural breast health, I was able to work with 9 women who had breast lumps go away in about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes and save them from surgeries,
Whoa, no, wait. We
Yeah.
can't, ma'am. We can't just bypass that.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that there is that right there within 30 minutes, it actually went benign, basically?
Well, I wasn't saying it was cancer, but they had breast lumps.
Breast lumps. Okay, I got you.
Lumps,
Okay.
and those lumps went away. So,
But
like,
they're preventing surgery. They're
yes,
preventing invasive,
yes.
procedures where they can have long-term effects, which this can be like, this is definitely like revolutionary.
hmm
Wow.
And so one of the ladies was a nurse, and great, testimony from her.
Mhm,
She had a
mhm.
lump that had been there about 6 months. It was it was almond-sized lump, and it went down to tapioca size in about 30 minutes. So it's tons of testimonies. I also had about 30 people that had kidney stones, and we just played a frequency for kidney stones,
Mhm,
made for kidney stones,
mhm.
and their stones were gone in about 30 minutes. Their urine sample was full of all kinds of flack and things.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that just kind of kept me going and going, and
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like you had like a lot of success and you're
Mhm.
going to be continuing to have, success within your product. But talk to me a little bit about like the struggles and the trials and tribulations while developing this product. Like, have you experienced that?
Well, it really wasn't too bad because I think I waited that 10 years for the correct technology to come along, that
Okay, I
was more
got you.
musical
Okay.
related. And so I was able to get it developed during COVID and released it right during COVID. And I actually had frequencies for COVID-19. Everything has a frequency. And so we've forgotten that Nikola Tesla,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
told us that everything has a frequency,
mm-hmm.
and that I guess it's the same thing as when an opera singer sings a high note and breaks a glass. We all know about that. Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Tesla named it and he called it the mortal oscillation rate. And he said it's the same thing. We can kill a virus or a parasite the exact same way.
Wow.
So that's what we have developed here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have specific frequencies that meet with a particular pathogen in your body and self amplify and explode, break
Yeah,
apart, however
yeah.
you'd want to say that.
No,
So
yeah.
why haven't we harnessed that information? We could have changed our lives completely.
That's actually a really good question. Like, why haven't we even dived into this even more very, very
Mhm,
soon?
mhm.
And also on top of that, Miss Linda, and just a little bit of a stray, maybe a little bit of a trailblaze, but being able to just have positive attitudes and also sounds, and also really, really telling yourself that you are having either a positive day and just talking to yourself into a positive mindset is very, very important. You know, um, to the point where it's we have to be very, very careful about how we talk to ourselves. How do we actually talk to our people as well? So, talk to me about, like your mindset of being an entrepreneur to know that, hey, you know what? I'm about to be successful. This is exactly what like all these women need. Like, like where does that mindset come from?
Um, where does that mindset come from?
Yeah, where's that mindset come from?
That's a big question because, in my longer life now,
You don't look a day past 35. Don't worry.
lots of things have changed. But I think I was raised on a farm and a ranch, and I had that entrepreneurial skill from the beginning because we didn't just run to town and
Mhm.
get everything. We actually made something if we needed to,
Mm,
with what was on hand. And that's what I found myself doing was actually coming up with different ideas because this hadn't ever been actually done before.
mhm.
So just some growing up skills is what I'd say. I was a teacher also, and I taught accelerated kids and had to keep them going and interested in many different ideas. And that's what I did with myself is just try to be excited and look for new ideas.
Nice, nice. So, we're seeing you more crossover between tech, health, and also spirituality. Do you think frequency-based therapies will eventually become as common as smartwatches or fitness trackers?
Well, I certainly hope so because they are a lot safer.
A lot safer.
I hate to say that some of the
Okay.
frequencies on our smartwatches and our Fitbits are negative frequencies. The EMFs are not natural to our bodies and can be very, very damaging. So I've seen that time and time again with my clients. But when you see a lady come in and she's worn her cell phone in her bra and she has 3 kinds of breast cancer underneath the outline of the cell phone, kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
it does.
when you have another person that wore their cell phone in their pocket and all of a sudden has a great big lump, ovarian lump tumor that they have to have removed right where their cell phone was, it makes you think.
Yeah.
And then the third one, an older lady that was a little bit crippled, she kind of leaned this way. She had a life alert for her, lifeline type alert, and developed breast cancer within a short time, exactly under the alert where, you couldn't miss it because she was setting sideways.
Yeah, these are not just coincidences. Like
No.
this is
No.
things that actually do happen because of this, because of these devices. So quick question, because you're definitely obviously a professional when it comes to sound and frequencies. Do we need these EMFs in these phones?
Well,
I don't know, that's a very big question.
I'm
but
not adept enough to tell you that, but we should be very aware of them and not wearing our phones and making sure our phones are in another room, at night when we sleep and all of those kind of things.
Because we have all these negative frequencies that's in these phones, and we've known this for years to come, but these companies are still putting it in there. So it's
and they're still telling us that it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, okay. That's fine. No, it's not.
So we have to make a stand and say, okay, if we're going to use it, we're going to do X, Y, Z to protect ourselves, So the WAVwatch actually does have a frequency.
How does that work? Yeah.
It does have a frequency to detox EMFs. And so many people have reported that their anxiety and emotional problems go away when the EMFs are more detoxed a little bit.
Okay. So a couple more questions before we wrap up. I really appreciate your time. So talk to me. Is this your first Biohacker World?
No, been here to several of them.
Several of them. So there's plenty other Biohacker World, biohack conferences, right? But why Biohacker World? Like, why, in your opinion, this is something that you keep on coming to and also supporting every single year?
We just love the people here and the enthusiasm, and anybody that's into biohacking, this is our audience. These are the people that want to know how to protect themselves and how to change their lives a little bit easier without being dependent on prescriptions and XYZ things that other people may use in their lives. We want to be more independent of those ideas.
So, and then here's another question real quick. So you mean to tell me with the power of sound, we can completely eliminate medicine? Can we?
I hope so, that it will get that way in the future. I can't say
no professional advice. It's just, we're just talking.
Obviously, can you imagine the trouble I could get into for saying definitely? No, but there's a frequency for everything.
Got it.
So we can use frequencies very, very successful for a variety of things. And the product that I developed has 1,100 different problems on it for self-care.
Got it.
So I have testimonies on about 800 different ideas.
We're heading into the right direction.
Yeah.
You're heading into the right direction. We're doing something right.
We want to definitely, it just makes it so much easier. Just think if we'd have used the idea of the mortal oscillation rate during the pandemic, we could have measured new frequencies if there was a mutation. We could have gotten them around the world instantly so that people could have used them.
Yeah.
The cost would have been less, would have been instant, and it would have changed the whole concept of what a pandemic is if we would have paid attention to this idea.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, you're definitely paying attention right now, and you're definitely doing God's work. So I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I learned a lot too, and I'm definitely going to come to. You have a booth, right?
Right.
I'm definitely going to come to your booth so we can definitely check it out even further. So my last question is that when it comes to coming to these conferences like Biohacker World, what is your ask, and also what is your give? You want me to explain? I can explain.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what is your ask? Your ask is like, what are you asking people that come here? What are you asking them? And also, what are you giving back to them?
Well, I would just say, what's your ache or your pain? People come up to the booth. It's like, how can I help you? Do you have a problem that you need supported? And somebody go, oh, well, my shoulder hurts, So then you know that you are helping individually. It makes me cry. I've had a lady come up she walked up to my booth and her hands were like this, essential tremors.
God.
She couldn't hold a cup of coffee. for, hadn't been able to for about 3 years.
My
We
God.
put the WAVwatch on her because we didn't have to ask her
Yeah.
what her problem was.
Yeah.
We put the WAVwatch on her, and in 3 minutes, her tremors were gone.
Praise God.
So that's the help. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We asked what they needed, and we helped them with a product.
Well, listen, Miss Olson, I really appreciate your time. Appreciate the efforts, everything that you're doing right now. And I'm super excited to check out your product as well, too, even further when I come to your booth. If you can please tell me where we can find you on social media platforms, either, LinkedIn, Instagram, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm on all of them, obviously. So our website is WAVwatch, and it's spelled WAV, waves and vibrations.
Got it.
Okay, WAVwatch.com. And then the same thing on all of those. Facebook is WAVwatch, the WAVwatch, and WAVwatch again at WAVwatch.
Appreciate your time, and happy Biohacker. Take care.
I'm already looking forward to the next events in 2026, Los Angeles and to Chicago and to New York. And I know in January after there's going to be Miami as well.